thought it might be cool to give a little tour of my backpacking kit for the Rocky Mountains here. I'm getting ready this weekend. I'll be guiding a group up to climb Chief Mountain, just across the border on the U.S. side, part of Glacier National Park and the Blackfeet Reservation. Going to climb up Chief Mountain, and I do that as a kind of a pilgrimage. It's a sacred site. Go up once a year, and I just invite anybody who wants to go. So yeah, I always pack my stuff. I always carry a pretty decent backpack up there. So I thought, yeah, why not show you what I pack for those who'd be interested in that kind of thing. So first of all, my backpack itself. This is an Osprey pack. I'm not sure the exact model, but they're good pack designer and everything. So I've been using this pack for probably 7-8 years. I've had, I think, 3 backpacks in my life, right? Serious backpacks. The last one, the one that I used the most in my life, I gave away when I got this pack. I gave it away to one of my students at Red Crow College for use on the Chief Mountain climb, like we're going to do. So that's my pack. The primary thing that I want to bring up there that if I had to just take a couple of things up here, I would take my pack. I would take a water bottle, of course some energy source, some food of some kind, and my sleeping bag. And my sleeping bag's just not any ordinary old sleeping bag. So I've pretty much got the whole setup here, really, as far as sleeping goes. Don't need a tent or anything like that. So this is a Sierra Designs mummy sack. It's really super warm. Keeps you warm up to like -30, something like that, -30, -40. It's made for our winters. And around that, I have a military style Gore-Tex bivy sack. So this I've learned, some years ago, is a real key. Okay, I don't need a tent or anything like that as long as I have a bivy sack. I do, however, carry a backpacker's tarp. Right, because I usually will set up a lean-to, something like that. So I use a backpacker's tarp. It folds up really tight. It's an 8x8 tent prints tarp. Now this year I'm planning to experiment a little bit. Mahoney, my wife, bought me a really nice hammock. Now for years I used one of those cheapo net hammocks. Probably made by Coghlan's or something like that. I used one of those net hammocks for a long time. When I was in the military myself, I used in Louisiana, we go on field missions, I'd use that hammock. But in recent years, backpacking supply companies have been making really nice hammocks, and Mahoney bought me one. So this is a Utopia Home Supreme hammock. So I'm gonna pack this along with me and experiment with it. I might use the hammock rather than a lean-to when I'm out there, because I want to test it, So that's pretty much my bed gear. I'm not going to bring, I usually will pack a inflatable mattress, like a self-inflating, what do they call them, Thermarest mattresses. I usually pack one of those along with me, but since I'm bringing the hammock, I'm not going to. I don't plan to sleep on the ground, and if I have to sleep on the ground, I'll be okay without it. Sleeping bag goes into this compression sack, gets really compressed pretty tight, right? So let's move on. So here's my food bag, my food kit here, and I've got a few things: strawberry cheesecake, Louisiana red beans and rice. I think this one came in one of my battle boxes. I've also got some Thai satay with beef and some Mexican style rice and chicken. All of these things are great. I won't need that much, but you never know, somebody else that comes along might be short on food. Or we've had situations, not at Chief Mountain, but I've had situations on other expeditions where people have gotten their food stolen by animals. So if I have a little extra food, that's okay. For snacks, I'm bringing some Sunripe fruit source bites, some dry mangoes, some beef jerky, Power Bar, Cliff Bar, you know. I've also got, I think, some dry pepperoni sticks, a little bit of, I usually pack a little bit of cheese, some mozzarella cheese. Something about it, you know, when it kind of just starts to get warmed up in the pack and almost curdling and juicy. And if I'm, you know, climbing mountains and stuff, man, that tastes delicious. I don't know why. Always have a few, you know, crystal drink mix things to throw in the water, and some freeze-dried coffee is a must. You know, don't go into the backcountry without your coffee if you're a regular old coffee drinker. I have 3 different water bottles. These are my 2 main bottles. This is the bottle that I'll be drinking from most of the time, but I've got the second bigger clean canteen for when we get to the base camp and I'm moving water around. I've also got this BIOS Adventure water bottle. I usually don't use it. I fill some of this stuff inside of it, you know, fill it up with stuff, just to pack along that small stuff and have an extra bottle on hand just in case, right? I'm going to test this out. This is a new product for me. This came with one of my battle boxes, and it's a little cup slash cooking pot, you know. Since it's a cup already, I probably don't need to bring along this Coors Light camping cup, so that I can put aside. I've got too many spoons going on, so I can leave one of the spoons out. Yeah, you always want to try to, you know, slim it down. This is a little survival bivy sack, just like this Gore-Tex sack, but it's one of those silver survival style, just in case. I don't know, probably never ever going to need it. Oh yeah, food kit. I'm going to test this out, and I'm going to bring my trusty rusty food kit here, which has everything: frying pan, you know, coffee, tea kettle, really clean pots, a couple really clean pots. That's my food kit there. For fire, I'll bring a lighter with me, of course. I've also got matches for just in case of. Some fire starters. These Coghlan fire starters are really the best, man. I've been using them since I was a little kid. They never let me down. Always just one starts the fire and gets it going really good. So I always carry those with, but I'm also carrying this. This came from one of my battle boxes, the little mini Inferno, Dave Canterbury product, fire starter. I'm going to carry that with me. I've also got this little sewing kit for some, you know, emergency use stuff that I'll have with me. This came in a battle box. Always bring some parachute cord, you know, a little bit of cord. You're always going to need cord. A couple of light sticks. These are camp towels. It's actual towels, you know, and some baby powder, right? Just in case, you know, if you start getting a what do you call that? If you start getting a rash or something, you know, chafed. It's always nice to have some baby powder. I've got a Bear Grylls Gerber knife. You know, it's a pretty nice camping knife, hunting knife. You know, it's also got built into it. Its case here, its sheath. It also has a fire stick, right? So I got fire definitely under control by like 4 different angles. I've got, you know, warm sleeping bag that's water protected just in and of itself. I've got plenty of food for a couple of days here, you know. Got a little bit of emergency stuff. Not much for first aid, really. But, you know, I don't know. I don't really carry much for first aid. I figure I can make do with some of my clothes and stuff if we need bandaging and that kind of thing. I always bring this saw, little hand saw. I find even these, you know, this is another like Coghlan product. People make fun of the Coghlan stuff, but some of Coghlan stuff It's awesome, and I love this little handsaw. It's never done me wrong, man. Cuts up wood like nothing. So bring that little handsaw. I used to haul a machete, but the wood up there in the backcountry in the Rockies is so hard, weathered and hard, that machetes and axes and stuff like that just don't do really great with it. As far as clothes go, I'll have the clothes that are on my back. I'm going to be wearing shorts, sandals, a t-shirt, probably some kind of heavier shirt over that, a warm shirt that I'll probably have off of me most of the time, but just hiking with it just in case. And then inside of my pack I have a Gore-Tex rain jacket slash windbreaker, you know, just an outside layer of Gore-Tex. I have some pants that have cotton lining in them. They're nice warm pants. These are typically the pants that I wear in the winter in general, but I'll bring them up there to the backcountry. I've got some really heavy thermal pants for the night, and a thermal sweater, right? Couple of pairs of socks. I'll bring a really cheap pair of almost minimalist Feiyu shoes, just in case I want something other than my sandals, but I usually don't. Bring a toque, keep my head warm, and if that's not warm enough, I got, you know, another head covering here, and I've got a buff for around my neck and such. Actually, the buff, and this is my clothes bag, everything goes in here and it stuffs really tight. The buff I'm gonna have over here, because I also carry a fanny pack with me, a nice fanny pack. I like to have the buff on hand, so that'll go in there. The other stuff that I got in there, a pair of tactical gloves, always handy when cutting the wood, when climbing the scree, that kind of thing. I've got a poncho, always bring a poncho up there because we get some really rank weather. This is my bear deterrent. I don't use bear spray, I just use a rattle, and hopefully that scares them off, or it just makes them mad so they kill me quicker. But we have seen bears and wolves up there during, you know, previous expeditions, and bighorn sheep and all kinds of stuff. It's the bears that really that creep me out, but you know, not much you can do about them. The bears are bears. Also bring in an extra charge for my phone, so I can plug in my phone, charge it up. Out there is signal in some areas of the backcountry, and most of the areas of this hike have a signal, so I'll bring that. I also have a set of solar panels. Actually, I laid it out back just earlier this afternoon to kind of power up, because it has also an external charger, you know, that I can charge up before I leave. That way I'll have lots of charging options for my phone, for my GoPro. So here is my my little pack with the, yeah, it's all charged up. All right, yeah, this is my my solar panel charger. So it works good in the field too, and I'll pack that along, you know, in case I run out of charge on my phone and on the two external chargers that I'm bringing. Then I can power something back up with this. Always good to have. Like, I don't know, I always plan, even though it's just going to be like an overnight, I always plan as though it's going to be 3 or 4 nights, in case there's some emergency or something that's going to go on. Hey, you never know, we could get some really bad weather. I've had that before. One time had to go into Glacier Park and find a ranger's cabin down in Slide Lake below Chief Mountain, and just like go rack up in that ranger's cabin for 2 days while it poured rain. That can happen, right? So you always got to be prepared for more days than you think you're going to be out there. Not a whole lot more, but a few more, right? Got a nice flashlight. That's going to be my light source. Toilet paper and wet wipes and stuff. I need a little bit more toilet paper. Don't want to go out and run out of toilet paper. Talking about packing for a few extra days, you know. Got a little bit of cordage here, just like fishing line for whatever reason, in case you need something tied, or you need to make a snare, something like that. Some more drinks, crystals, a couple extra batteries, in case my batteries that are in here run out. I've got this little light that I like to use in my lean-to, or over my bed at night, and it also has a flashing. Let's see if I can get it to do its flash. There we go. It's got a flashing beacon, in case you need to use it in times of trouble. Moleskin, essential, although I don't see myself getting any blisters because my feet are pretty tough. Somebody else in the crew might, and really that's a terrible thing to have your feet uncomfortable. So always bring moleskin, bring a little tobacco for offerings. I'm also bringing some of my clothes that have worn out this year. So I've got a thermal shirt that I wore many times, probably even climbed the mountain with it a few times. A pair of my camo shorts that ripped, that are done for, and maybe even I like to leave this hat up there as part of my offering too, but yeah, we'll see. I don't have a replacement hat yet, but this one's seen its best days, and it's time to give it up and get something new, right? And what else do I got here? Toothbrush, fork spoon thing, little knife on the edge, 3 tools in one. Just some basic drugs, some painkillers, some indigestion type pills, this kind of thing, Claritin, a little bit allergy pills, just in case, don't want it falling out, just in case you're feeling uncomfortable for any reason out there. I always bring Visine for my eyes, to keep my eyes moist, if it, for whatever purpose. Chapstick is a must. Hate getting chapped lips out there, not being prepared for it. It's another fire tool, just in case, another Coghlan product. And some Deep Woods Off, although I don't really use insect spray, and especially on the mountain, I've never had any use for it up here, but it's small and packable and worth bringing just in case something's happening that I haven't encountered before up there. You never know. Maybe there's an infestation this year of something. So yeah, that's what I'm bringing. That's my basic kit, and yeah, look forward to seeing a video in a couple of days of the expedition.